The Zach Merrett situation has been going on for a week now, and it looks like the trade is most likely going to happen. In this video, I'm giving you the updates, the details, and the possible trade scenario. Let's get into it. G'day guys, ET back with another video. Now, the current update on Zach Merrett, as we know, you've probably seen most of this information, but I'll just run it back for you. He's going to be 30 in October. He's still contracted for 2 more seasons after this season. And yeah, by the looks of it, he's not going to the BNF night. Reports say a few players at the club are unhappy and are very disappointed with him, including Mason Redmond and Jordan Ridley. And essentially, Merrett has said, stuff Essendon. Look, I've just been through a massive rebuild. I came in at the end of the drug saga, and we're about to go on another rebuild, and I don't want to be a part of it. And the Bombers are basically replying with, stuff you, this relationship is soured, you're our captain, you're our leader, you're the last person that should be doing this. But I've spoken to a couple Essendon supporters, and they're basically saying, well, can you blame the guy? Like, seriously, he's been through the thick and thin with Essendon. He's never won a final in his career at Essendon. Essendon haven't won a final for 20 years, let me remind you. So it's not like he's leaving a successful club or dogging his mates or anything. It's like, I'm 30 now. From his perspective, he's basically saying, I'm 30, I want success, I've done everything I can. I've been here over 10 years, and you haven't put a good enough team around me for me to want to stay. So essentially, it's like, well, this is the Bombers' fault at the end of the day. And I know most clubs in the AFL don't want to admit or accept a rebuild because it just looks bad in their franchise, and the rest of the playing group, especially senior players, they're like, we're going through a rebuild. My job now is essentially to develop younger players rather than compete and be competitive and try and win, which is, yeah, it makes sense. But at the same time, in Essendon's situation, they were 1 loss away from being in the bottom 2 this season. It's not like they were competitive for the 8 or even 2 wins away from being competitive for the 8. They were essentially the second worst team in the competition right now. Like, to put it into perspective, look at the bottom teams in the comp right now. West Coast, North Melbourne, Richmond and Essendon. At least West Coast, North Melbourne and Richmond have started a rebuild, and they at least have a little bit of a young core, and they're currently developing. Yes, I know the Bombers had a really bad run with injuries this season, and their list isn't necessarily too bad, but at the same time, why would you not want to go into a rebuild, especially with Tasmania coming in around the corner in 2 drafts' time? So, for Essendon's situation, why would you not want to rebuild? Your best player wants to leave. Trade him when he's at his highest value. You're not going to get anything more back from him in a year or 2's time. So why not trade him now? Start the rebuild before Tasmania come in, because if you don't, you're stuffed. Like, think about it. If Essendon don't stock up on draft picks, or at least draft picks and young players, as soon as Tasmania come in, they're not going to be 3 or 4 years behind. They're going to be more closer to a decade behind on the rebuild if they don't start now, and if they start this rebuild in 2-3 years' time, for example. Now let's have a look at Essendon's 2025 draft picks. Now keep in mind, this draft is going to be heavily impacted with father-sons and academy picks, so I'm just going to keep that in mind. The Bombers right now have pick 4, 5, 22 and 25, and they're going to be getting a compensation pick for Sam Draper leaving to the Lions, which I'm assuming is going to be around 20 roughly. We don't know yet. So they already have 5 picks inside the top 25, and that's not including the picks that are going to be brought back for the Merrett trade. Now let's look at the potential trade package they're going to get back for Merrett going to the Hawks. Now, as we know, Hawthorn have Carlton's 2025 first round pick, which is currently pick 8. They also have their own 2026 pick, and they have Carlton's second round pick, which is going to be 26. That's just the short-term draft picks Hawthorn have to offer. Now, this trade, I'm saying it now, this trade is definitely, for a fact, like, it's going to be surrounded by this. Hawthorn's 2025 first, pick 8. Hawthorn's a future first round pick, which is probably going to be first round, like I said, so probably around between 14 and 18 next season. And also Henry Hustwaite. Henry Hustwaite is definitely going to be in this deal. Apparently he's really keen to get out of Hawthorn for more opportunity, and the Essendon Bombers have been looking at him recently. So yeah, it sort of makes sense that this trade package is surrounded by those 3 things. And I think this trade package is also going to include one more piece, either Jai Sarong or James Warple's compensation pick. Let's be real, Warple hasn't signed on yet. He's most likely going to Geelong. I have seen players like Ned Reeves and Seamus Mitchell get thrown around, but at the end of the day, I think Hawthorn have the upper hand at this point. Like, honestly, at the start of this, I thought, yeah, Essendon were going to get overs on this, but at the same time, they don't want Merrett to stay at this point. The relationship is sour. He obviously doesn't want to be there. The players are a bit disgruntled with what he's done with that secret meeting with Sam Mitchell, so I think Essendon are going to get a little bit less than what they would have a week ago. Like, at the start of the week, this deal was definitely 2025 and 2026's first round picks, Henry Hustwaite, and potentially a Warple's first round compensation, which would be around 20, the same as Sam Draper's. But now, I think it's going to be those 3 things, and then either a player or maybe a second round pick. So now let's look at Essendon's draft hand in 2025 if this trade goes through. The Bombers will have pick 4, 5, 8, 22, 25, 26 plus Sam Draper's compensation pick. Pick 8 and 26 will be Hawthorn's picks, and also they'll be going into next season with Henry Hustwaite and potentially Joyce Wrong. So looking at this from a rebuild perspective, your first year of the rebuild, you'll have 3 top 10 picks, another 4 picks inside of the top 26, and potentially Henry Hustwaite and Joyce Wrong, who both just made the VFL Team of the Year. So that's 7 picks inside the top 26 in this year's draft, 2 guns who just made the VFL Squad of the Year, and then Hawthorn's a first round pick in the 2026 draft, which is probably going to be between 14 and 18. If you're the Bombers, how do you say no to that? Like, seriously, how is this even a debate or a question at saying no to that? At this point, Essendon should be thankful Merrett wants to leave now while his trade value is high and while they're going to get a few picks back for him. And yes, I've heard the rumours about Sam Butler and Cam McKenzie being offered in the trade, but let's be real, they're not going anywhere. Henry Hustwaite wants to leave, he's never going to get a game, and Joyce Wrong, he's never going to get a game in the twos behind Barris and Battle, so yeah, these two are most likely going to go. And with Sam Butler, yeah, a few weeks ago I could see where you were coming from, but he just had, 9 tackles, 2 goals in a semi-final, and has been playing great. He was the 3rd highest rated fantasy points in the entire game against Adelaide, so yeah, he's definitely not going anywhere, I guarantee you that. But yeah, they're my thoughts and opinions on the matter. Comment down below, do you think this trade is going to go through, and what would you give up as a Hawthorn supporter to get Zach Merrett? Very curious to see the fans' opinions and thoughts, so comment down below, let me know.